The scene opens on a close-up of a hand, calloused but strong, unlocking a high-end padlock on a chain-link fence. We hear the sharp click of the lock and the ambient sounds of a bustling city neighborhood. The hand moves with a deliberate purpose, not quite what one would expect from a typical renter. The camera slowly pulls back to reveal a charming but slightly run-down apartment building courtyard. Potted plants line the edges, a few residents chat on benches, and children play in a designated area. At the center stands a black man, Mr. David Walker, 40s, dressed in casual but stylish clothes. He surveys the courtyard with a discerning eye, his expression calm and observant as he unlocks the gate. His demeanor, despite his casual attire, carries an unusual quiet authority. We then pan to a side of the courtyard where a portly, expensively dressed man, 50s, Mr. Victor Sterling, the landlord, is berating a young resident for a minor violation of the building's rules. His face is red with anger, his voice booming and condescending. He glances at David, a dismissive smirk playing on his lips, then openly mocks the young resident. The camera cuts quickly to a subliminal flashback. A year prior, David in a more formal setting, perhaps at a real estate auction, looking sharp and focused, not a renter. This brief glimpse hints at a different background and a journey of strategic ambition. Returning to the present, David finishes unlocking the gate, his expression unchanged. Sterling's shouting echoes. The humble renter, whose appearance is being overlooked, is about to reveal a shocking truth that will utterly dismantle the landlord's arrogance. The scene shifts back 1 year, revealing a world of meticulous planning and quiet strategic brilliance. We find Mr. David Walker, 39 at this time, in his spacious yet understated home office. It's not flashy, but highly organized. Multiple monitors display property values, market trends, and detailed building assessments. Books on real estate law, urban development, and community revitalization line the shelves. David is a self-made real estate mogul, a shrewd investor with an uncanny ability to identify undervalued properties and execute strategic acquisitions. He made his initial fortune in tech, quietly building his wealth outside the public eye, often operating through shell corporations or trusted intermediaries to maintain a low profile. We see him now, meticulously analyzing property data on his computer, his brow furrowed in intense concentration. He dreams of revitalizing neglected communities, transforming rundown buildings into thriving, affordable housing, and challenging predatory landlord practices. He believes in creating sustainable value, not just short-term gains, and in empowering tenants. However, despite his immense wealth and strategic acumen, David deliberately maintains a low public profile. He's often underestimated by established real estate elites who associate wealth and power with flashy displays and a certain look. He understands that bias exists, and he has learned to use it to his advantage, operating in the shadows, letting his financial moves speak louder than his physical presence. He's particularly interested in acquiring a specific apartment building, the Willow Creek Apartments, known for its prime location, but also its dilapidated condition and its exploitative landlord, Victor Sterling. He's decided on an unconventional strategy, to personally rent an apartment in the building for a short period, observing Sterling's practices firsthand and gaining the trust of the tenants. This would allow him to gather crucial information about the building's problems, the tenants' needs, and Sterling's exploitative behavior, information no financial report could ever provide. His trusted legal advisor, Ms. Chloe Jenkins, 40s, expresses concerns about the unconventional nature of this due diligence. "David, this is highly unorthodox. It's risky," she'd advise. But David, with a determined glint in his eye, would reply, "To truly understand a building, Chloe, you must live within its walls, and no one will suspect the new tenant." He prepares for the role, embracing the anonymity, knowing that his unassuming appearance will be his greatest strategic asset. David is now several months into his undercover role as a tenant at the Willow Creek Apartments. He's fully immersed himself in the community, attending tenant meetings, helping with building repairs, and listening to the residents' concerns. He's experienced firsthand the neglect, the exorbitant rent increases, the arbitrary rules, and the dismissive treatment from the landlord, Victor Sterling. He sees the building's potential, but also the deep-seated problems caused by its current ownership. He's developed a quiet camaraderie with his fellow tenants, understanding their struggles and their resilience. The core conflict is David's internal struggle. His brilliant strategic mind and immense financial power are constantly at odds with the subservient renter role he performs. He's gathering crucial intelligence, observing from the bottom up, but he constantly faces the assumptions and dismissals people make about him based on his casual attire and perceived tenant status. He carries the weight of this deception, yet finds satisfaction in the raw, unfiltered truth he gains. His primary obstacle, though he observes him from afar, is a Mr. Victor Sterling, 50s, the current owner of the Willow Creek Apartments. Sterling is a complacent, arrogant landlord who inherited the building and believes its profits are entirely due to his superior business acumen. He is notoriously dismissive of his tenants, often making condescending remarks about their lack of ambition or financial irresponsibility. He rarely, if ever, addresses their concerns, preferring to remain cloistered in his opulent office. He views the tenants as a source of income, barely acknowledging their humanity, and certainly not their intellect. He is known for his boisterous shouting and his tendency to humiliate perceived inferiors in front of others. Today, David is in the courtyard, preparing to install a new community garden, a project he initiated to improve tenant morale and the building's aesthetics. It's a project Sterling actively opposed, viewing it as a waste of space and a potential liability. David's presence in the courtyard draws Sterling's attention, setting the stage for a confrontation no one, especially Sterling, suspects. The courtyard at the Willow Creek Apartments is a microcosm of the building's struggles and its residents' resilience. Tenants are working together, planting flowers, building raised garden beds, and creating a vibrant community space. David, in jeans and a t-shirt, is directing the effort, his calm authority and practical skills earning the respect and admiration of his fellow tenants. Sterling, however, arrives, his face red with anger, interrupting the peaceful activity. Sterling strides into the courtyard, his voice booming and accusatory. He points a finger at a young tenant, Maria, 20s, who is carefully watering newly planted seedlings. "You! What do you think you're doing? I told you, no unauthorized alterations. This isn't a commune, it's my property." Maria, intimidated but defiant, tries to explain. "But Mr. Sterling, we got the approval from the tenant association. We're just trying to make the building—" Sterling cuts her off with a dismissive wave of his hand. "Tenant association? You think your little club has any authority here? I make the rules, and I said no gardening. You people are always trying to get away with something. You think you can just turn my property into a jungle? I'll have this all ripped out, and you'll all be paying for the damages." He turns to the other tenants, his voice dripping with condescension. "Honestly, you people, you have no respect for property rights. You're lucky I even let you live here." He then spots David, who has been calmly observing the situation. Sterling's eyes narrow, a sneer forming on his lips. "And you? Walker, the instigator. I knew you were trouble the moment you moved in. You think you can just waltz in here and start dictating terms? You're just a renter. You have no say in how I run my building. He gestures dismissively at David's clothes, then at the garden. Honestly, you people, you're all the same. Always complaining, always trying to undermine authority. You think you're so smart, but you're just tenants. You should be grateful you have a roof over your heads. His words are a direct public mockery, designed to belittle David, to imply a lack of power and influence based purely on his perceived tenant status. He speaks loudly enough for all the tenants to hear, aiming to humiliate David and assert his dominance. David's face remains impassive, but his eyes, sharp and intelligent, reveal a subtle, almost imperceptible hardening. Sterling, sensing his perceived advantage, presses on, his tone becoming more overtly offensive. You know what? I've had enough of your troublemaking. I'm issuing you an eviction notice, Walker, effective immediately. And if you try to fight it, I'll make sure you never rent another apartment in this city. You understand me? You're just a renter. You have no power here. The air in the courtyard thickens with unspoken prejudice as Sterling orchestrates a public humiliation aiming to crush David's spirit and dismiss his influence, all under the guise of asserting his property rights. The courtyard at the Willow Creek Apartments is a frozen tableau of tension. Sterling stands, red-faced and shouting, his threat of eviction hanging in the air. David stands perfectly still, his expression utterly impassive, but his eyes, sharp and intelligent, reveal a subtle, almost imperceptible gleam. This isn't just about Sterling's arrogance. It's about every tenant who has been exploited, every community undermined by greed. He takes a slow, steadying breath, drawing strength from his strategic plan and the unwavering support of the tenants he has come to know and respect. Mr. Sterling, David begins, his voice calm, clear, and perfectly modulated, cutting through the landlord's self-satisfied rant. I assure you, my understanding of property rights and community development is quite comprehensive, more so than you could possibly imagine. He pauses, allowing his words to hang in the air, creating a deliberate moment of anticipation. Sterling scoffs, a low, dismissive sound, fully expecting a meek apology or a nervous retreat. He gestures impatiently. Oh, really? And what profound insights could a mere tenant possibly possess? But then the twist begins. David doesn't argue about tenant rights or eviction notices. He calmly reaches into the inner pocket of his jacket. He pulls out a sleek legal document sealed with a corporate crest. He unfolds it and holds it up for all to see. Mr. Sterling, David continues, his voice now imbued with an undeniable, devastating authority, I didn't move into this building to cause trouble. My role as a tenant was simply to gain first-hand knowledge of your exploitative practices and the needs of this community. He pauses, allowing the gravity of his words to sink in. This document, which I believe you'll find quite relevant, details the successful culmination of a months-long acquisition process. Sterling's sneer falters as he squints to read the document. His face goes utterly, profoundly white as he recognizes the letterhead. A major real estate investment firm. His eyes dart to the bold print. Notice of property ownership transfer. The Willow Creek Apartments. Below it, the details are stark. Effective immediately, ownership of the Willow Creek Apartments has been transferred to Walker Community Development, LLC, with Mr. David Walker listed as the sole owner and CEO. David then delivers the punchline, the twist that completely shatters Sterling's world. So, you see, Mr. Sterling, he says, a subtle, almost imperceptible hint of satisfaction in his voice. "I'm not just a tenant. I am your new landlord. As of 8 a.m. this morning, I own the Willow Creek Apartments, and your services as property manager are no longer required." Sterling's face contorts in disbelief, then rage, then utter agonizing humiliation. He is utterly speechless, his arrogance stripped away, replaced by the devastating realization that he has just threatened to evict the very person who now controls his entire livelihood. The tenants gasp, then erupt in cheers, their faces filled with shock and triumphant joy. The twist isn't just that David is wealthy. It's that he now owns the very building he was renting in, and the landlord who is trying to evict him, turning Sterling's prejudice into his own spectacular public downfall. The courtyard at the Willow Creek Apartments explodes in a cacophony of shocked gasps, then cheers, then jubilant applause. The tenants, who moments ago were cowering under Sterling's threats, erupt in celebration, their faces alight with a mixture of disbelief and triumphant joy. They surround David, their new landlord, offering their heartfelt gratitude and congratulations. Sterling, however, stands frozen, his face a grotesque mask of horror and disbelief. His jaw hangs slack, his eyes wide and unblinking, fixed on the legal document in David's hand. He clutches at his chest, as if physically struck, the reality of David's words sinking in with brutal finality. He tries to stammer, but no words come, only a desperate, choked gasp. The man who moments ago exuded untouchable power now looks utterly destroyed, his carefully constructed world of prejudice and privilege irrevocably shattered. Maria, the young tenant he had been berating, steps forward, her voice trembling but defiant. You can't evict anyone anymore, Mr. Sterling," she says, her voice gaining strength with each word. "This is our building now, and we're not going anywhere." David, maintaining his calm, professional demeanor, allows the celebration to swell, letting the full weight of his revelation sink in. He then raises a hand, silencing the crowd with a quiet authority. "Friends," he says, his voice clear and resonant, "I didn't acquire this building to become a tyrant. I acquired it to transform it, to create a safe, affordable, and thriving community for all of you." He looks directly at Sterling, his eyes unwavering. "Your exploitative practices, your neglect, and your blatant disrespect for these tenants end today, Mr. Sterling. You are no longer welcome on this property." Just then, a sleek black car pulls up to the curb, and Ms. Chloe Jenkins, 40s, sharp, impeccably dressed, David's legal advisor, steps out, followed by a team of construction workers and property managers. She nods respectfully to David, then turns to a visibly shaking Sterling. "Mr. Sterling," Chloe says, her voice crisp and official, "as per the terms of the acquisition, you are to vacate the premises immediately. Your personal effects will be inventoried and returned to you. Effective immediately, Mr. Walker is assuming full control." The climax isn't just about David buying the building. It's about the complete public inversion of power, the shattering of Sterling's ingrained prejudice, and the undeniable triumph of a black man's quiet brilliance, strategic planning, and unwavering commitment to social justice over arrogant, classist, and racist exploitation, all witnessed in a single devastating moment. Sterling stands utterly speechless, his arrogance completely crushed, his empire now under the control of the very person he deemed unworthy. 6 months later. The transformation at the Willow Creek Apartments and in the surrounding community is profound and inspiring. We are now in a vibrant, renovated courtyard filled with lush gardens, a children's playground, and happy, engaged residents. The building has been repainted, the apartments upgraded, and a new community center buzzes with activity. Mr. David Walker, now a local hero, moves through the courtyard, interacting warmly with his tenants, his leadership hailed as revolutionary within the city. He's implemented affordable housing policies, created tenant empowerment programs, and is fostering a thriving community spirit. He's proving that ethical real estate development and genuine social impact go hand in hand. A quick cut to a society gossip column. An article is displayed featuring a small, unflattering photo of Victor Sterling. The headline reads, "Predatory landlord ousted in shocking real estate takeover. Tenants celebrate new era of fairness." The article details the public humiliation, the building acquisition, and Sterling's subsequent downfall. His reputation is in tatters, and he's largely shunned by his former peers. He's seen avoiding public events, his usual boisterous confidence replaced by a perpetual scowl. He has learned a devastating lesson. The Willow Creek Apartments, once a symbol of neglect and exploitation, now shines as a beacon of hope and community empowerment, a lasting testament to David's vision and his unwavering commitment to social justice. The city, and perhaps even Sterling himself, learned a valuable lesson. The person you dismiss the quickest might just be the one who owns your entire world and who transforms it for the better.